Hi. We expect the federal tax system to be fair towards every single American, from the richest to the poorest. Through discussion of our facts, we see that this system initially does hold up its responsibility to be fair. And upon looking at the bigger picture and diving deeper, we see that it actually fails to do so. So let's take a look at how the system is unfair by looking at our first fact. Low income earners pay a small percentage of their income as income tax, 10% or lower, as compared to those with higher income who may pay as much as 37%. This system is called progressive taxation. Let's take a look at this graph that visually explains this system. As your income incrementally increases, all the way from the poorest 10% to the richest 10%, you pay a higher percentage of your income as income tax. This system alone is completely fair towards everybody, especially the poor. That's because people with a greater ability to pay are understandably asked to carry a larger percentage burden. On the other hand, the poor people earning minimum wage or even lower in some cases keep a much larger percentage of their income so that they can fulfill their basic human needs. Having said that, we come to our second fact that paints a completely different and shocking picture. In 2019, it is estimated that the richest 400 Americans, billionaires, had a total tax rate of 23%, whereas the poorest 10% had a total tax rate close to 26%. You might wonder, even though the progressive taxation system is fair towards the poor and favors them, in the end, how does the poorest 10% end up paying more taxes as a percentage of their income than the 400 richest Americans? Well, that's because we are only looking at the surface when we look at income tax alone. Looking at the bigger picture, we come to an understanding that income tax is not the only tax we pay. There are so many more. This graph stacks them up. There's corporate and property taxes we pay on money we make from businesses and properties. There is estate tax that we pay on money we inherit. Then there is payroll taxes. We pay 7.6% of our paycheck for these taxes. Your employer is required by law to match this amount out of their own pockets, but economists have found that how companies pay their part of this tax is by simply paying you less. So in reality, you are paying nearly the full 15.3% of your paycheck towards this tax. Additionally, any income above $130,000 is exempt from these taxes. And this is why the richest pay a very tiny percentage of their income as these taxes. And the lowest income earners face the brunt of it. The last and also one of the most important taxes we pay are on the stuff we buy. This includes clothes, furniture, toilet paper, laundry detergent, and is called consumption tax. We might assume that since rich people buy more things and more expensive things, they pay a larger percentage of their income towards these taxes. But relative to how much money they have, the money they spend on these things and the taxes they pay on these things are actually a very small percentage of their wealth. Meanwhile, everyone, even the people who have almost no money, need to buy essential things to survive. And for poor people, these essential things and the taxes they pay on them cost them almost everything they earn. To figure out who is responsible for this unfairness, we need to understand that these taxes are collected on the federal, state, and local level. And so the authorities at each of these levels who make these decisions should be held accountable. At looking at a way to fix this issue, we could look at the number of changes Trump has made in the past couple of years to the tax code, which has allowed companies to save a lot of money by paying lesser taxes. Repealing those rules may mean that companies and the richest pay a higher percentage of their income, and the percentage of income that the poorest pay as taxes could be reduced.